ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I'm Jambo. I am very proud and encouraged to join you as we discuss the future of our economic transformation and the vital role of medium, small, and micro enterprises in shaping our economic future. As you're all aware, among the 5 pillars of this administration, one of the 5 pillars is MSMEs. And it was deliberate and intentional that we identified the space around MSMEs as a critical sector for the transformation of our economy. We recognize and embrace and champion the critical contribution of MSMEs, notably because they create between 80 and 90% of jobs and also generate nearly 1/3 of gross domestic product. Without a doubt, under the right conditions, MSMEs have even greater potential to drive national economic transformation at an accelerated pace, creating jobs for our young people and improving the livelihoods of both urban and rural communities and enterprises. Listening to the lady who spoke to us in the presentation here, she spoke from those in the agricultural sector, largely in the rural areas, all the way to the marketplace. And in that ecosystem, we have MSMEs at every level, at the level of farmers, small-scale farmers who require credit, transporters, people working in that whole space. And it is the reason why, apart from our housing program, we are also building 400 new markets for our mama mbogas and all the people who are involved in that space, because that piece of infrastructure improves their business. The bottom-up economic transformation agenda outlines strategies and strategic interventions that the government will implement in collaboration with the private sector investments in creating an enabling environment across all sectors, particularly for MSMEs to unlock opportunities and achieve inclusive transformation. I am particularly encouraged by the thematic focus of this event because the empowerment of MSMEs is at the core of our plan, which is our vehicle to deliver equitable development and inclusive growth while engaging all citizens of our republic. I also take this opportunity to commend the banking industry, not only for its essential role in ensuring efficient functioning of our economy and maintaining the integrity of our financial sector, but also for leading by example in tax compliance. In 2023, the banking industry contributed 190 billion in taxes, reflecting both its performance and potential. And I must congratulate the banking industry for your contribution. Asanteni sana. These funds significantly support the government efforts to improve infrastructure, enhance public services, and promote robust economic activity. This event has fundamental positive implications for economic growth because banking institutions have demonstrated their commitment to expand lending to MSME sector through a variety of dedicated products and solutions that have been showcased here today. I went through the many booths and the many products that have been developed by different banks to address different sectors of our MSME ecosystem. And I want to say the array, the buffet, the number of different products demonstrate your commitment and the agility of our financial sector to provide tailor-made products for different sectors of our economy. And I want to encourage that as government, we will work with you to make it possible for you to be able to overcome whatever challenges that are there so that we can serve both the private sector market, but also more specifically the MSME sector in the banking industry. And as I make this commitment, we want to make it significant and impactful. According to the central bank, our banks provided Kenya shillings 783 billion in loans to MSMEs in 2023, which represents an increase of about 75 billion. As we launch the MSME Accelerated Program today, let us reflect and collaborate in advancing its stated aim of boosting small business capabilities through comprehensive assessments, advanced training, and tailored support from public and private sector partners, as well as development finance institutions. I know John, the chair of the Kenya Bankers, has said that we will shortly be graduating some of the clients some of the people in the Hustler Fund, about 2 million of them. I think next month we will be announcing their graduation now to the MSME sector. And it demonstrates the possibilities that exist. And it also gives you an indication. Hustler Fund is retailing at 8%. Many banks are today at 17, 18, 20, 20-something percent. I want to tell you that the experience we have seen with the Hustler Fund, and I think KCB and Family Bank can bear me witness, that it is still possible to do business even with single-digit interest rates. We just need to work together and find ways of making sure that we make it much more efficient, leverage more on technology, work more with KYCs. We have gathered a lot of information on borrowers, and we will be availing that information to the banking sector so that you can trace some of the people who will be graduating to you. We will give you their banking industry, their banking records. We will give you their borrowing history, and you can be able to make much more easier decisions on how much, when to lend to them. And again, we are prepared to share this information with you so that we can progressively develop more products that helps our MSME ecosystem. As we do this, I am confident that our banking sector's dedicated support program will facilitate MSMEs to develop scalable business models, strengthen financial management skills, and again, access to investors, markets, and formal credit. I commend the banking industry's pledge to double lending to MSMEs by providing 150 billion in new loans annually beginning next year. Accordingly, the government will support this bold and innovative move through policy and institutional banking, including measures to guarantee the prompt payment of all pending bills, which will commence once the ongoing verification process is completed. And John Buddy and the team at Treasury are seized of this matter. We have discussed at length on what needs to be done. We are developing alternative products on how to raise financing for us to deal with this challenge of pending bills so that we can enhance liquidity in the financial ecosystem and make sure that banks can lend more. Let me also take this opportunity to pay tribute and to congratulate the banks for working with us on the matter of exchange rate. I know that early this year we had a very robust engagement led by the central bank, and I must commend all the banks who came to the table and worked with us to make sure we deal with the challenge of interest rates. Because of that collaboration, today our exchange rate has stabilized at around 129. I must commend you because it had gone all the way to 165, 167. But because of coming together, working together, the industry, looking at, yes, it's good to make money, but at what cost to the economy? And I must say to the banks, congratulations for being part of the solution in that space. But I want to give you another 2 assignments because you already did very well and passed with very high marks on the first one. Now it is another opportunity for us to work together around improving manufacturing. The lending to the manufacturing sector is not sufficient. Our manufacturing sector is not doing well, and it is weighing down our economy. And it is the reason why we had interventions that we had worked with you, and I am happy that, again, we now have a business bill that will go to the House that has all the thoughts and ideas and suggestions of industry on how we can provide a better environment for business to thrive. And this bill will contain many of the aspects that will support the industry. We've taken ideas from manufacturers, we've taken ideas from traders, we've taken ideas from investors, so that we can provide a better working environment, a better investment climate, and an enabling business ecosystem to support our manufacturing, trade, and investment. I want to encourage industry to work with the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry so that we can together, again, fashion a new space for business to thrive. I want to encourage the banking industry, the MSMEs, to work with us as we develop this new business bill that would help us do more, especially in the space around manufacturing. I remember last year, actually this year, having a conversation with somebody who is manufacturing in Kenya. And the biggest challenge they have is that we continue to import products that we can manufacture in Kenya. And we lose significantly because the raw materials that we would have used to manufacture locally are not used. The jobs we are supposed to create locally are lost. And so the opportunities to grow our own manufacturing capabilities and enterprises is also lost. So there is need for a determined, affirmative action to drive our industrialization. And part of that endeavor includes availing credit to our manufacturing sector. I must commend you because the banking sector in Kenya is the most profitable globally. But I also want to tell you that you can do even better by lending to more people at lower rates so that you enhance your, so that you use the economies of scale. You know, the more people you lend to, the bigger the pie we all bake. So I want to encourage you that that is the space we want to work with you around and to see how we can do this again together. I know you have mentioned something about KRA. I just want to promise you that our strategy is not to push for more taxes on the people who are already paying. Our strategy is for more people to pay little taxes so that we can reduce big taxes on the people who are already paying so much. That is the way that we want to go into the future. And we are overhauling the management and the business practice of Kenya Revenue Authority leveraging more on technology so that we can be able to do more and be able to ensure that we raise domestically, we mobilize domestic resources more and reduce on what we are borrowing. So lending is one assignment that I want to give you to our private sector. Lending to the private sector is at what percent, Tuge? I think we came down significantly. You know, the lending to the private sector only grew by 1.3%, which is really insignificant. We want that sector, the private sector, to do more. And I know what we need to do as a public sector to enable you to do that. So we will do our part. Please do yours. Let me also ask you, as the banking sector, another request. We already are signed in with a Pan-African payment system. The Pan-African payment system, Tuge tells me he convened a meeting with the banking industry, and I must commend you. Many people from the banking industry showed up. And the whole reason why we are doing this is we want to reduce our transactions cost, especially for products and trade that are transboundary. We spend about $5 billion as a continent in just, exchange rate issues. With the Pan-African payment system, we can sell our products and buy products from the continent in our local currencies. That way, we avoid losses as a result of exchange, of different currency exchange rates. So I want to encourage the banking industry to participate in that space, because Kenya has been identified as the place where we want to domicile the Pan-African payment system. But our drawback is that not as many banks are using that facility. I want to encourage, and I've told Gashora, the chairman of the Kenya Bankers, to encourage more banks to participate in that. It is good for you. It reduces your transactions cost. It reduces unnecessary exchange rate issues, and it helps us pay for products from different countries in local currency. That way, our traders don't have to run around trying to change money from one currency to another. Let me also request for one more thing. I hope I'm not making too many requests, because I have my banker here, and I don't want to get a letter that I am behind schedule in paying my affordable housing, as Musalia has said. We have 5 billion shilling worth of contracts that we have given to MSMEs. These are Juakali artisans. They are making doors, they are making windows, they are making hinges. And what we have done to make it much more professional, we have standardized all the windows. They can now manufacture in bulk. We have also standardized all the doors. They can also manufacture in bulk. But they keep telling me that you ask them too many questions when they come to look for credit. And oftentimes, we've had to step in and provide some guarantees. They have already a proven track record. I want to encourage the banks to look at these MSMEs in the housing ecosystem and see how you can support them. They have legitimate business contracts, and we want to see how we can work together. So this is what I envision as we work together in this space. You have my commitment that we will be disciplined as the public sector. We've taken some very difficult decisions to make sure that we stay the straight and narrow. It is the reason why we have built our reserves. It is the reason why we have invested in the right places to make sure that we bring down inflation. It is my target that next year inflation will be sub 3%. That is a target that we have. And as we bring down inflation and reduce the cost of living, as we stabilize the exchange rates and make sure that we are much more predictable, and as we now work together with you on making sure that we lower interest rates, because that is the trajectory globally, we should be able to be in better space. And you know what? I mean, the international financial system already recognized that our fundamentals are right. That is why there are inflows of investments into Kenya. That is why many investors are looking to Kenya as a place to invest. That's why our tourism is doing okay, our remittances are doing okay, because the fundamentals are right. We need to believe in ourselves more than currently we are doing. We need to be much more positive about our country. How come others believe in us more than we believe in ourselves? You know, that's a question we need to ask ourselves. How can people out there believe in us and believe in our country and believe in Kenya more than we as Kenyans believe in ourselves? I think that's a challenge that we have, and the banking sector can lead the way. Finally, I urge the National Treasury and the Ministry of Cooperative and MSME Development to align policies in order to provide sustainable framework for engaging with opportunities for transformation and addressing the challenges of MSMEs that they face in accessing credit. And I encourage them to work with you as the banking industry so that we can foster and broaden inclusion of stakeholders in the financial services sector and bring the MSMEs on board. I want to thank you very much for what you're doing, and you can take it from me that from the public sector, we will do what we must, and we will also leverage on technology to make sure that we don't lose the resources that you have raised for us to use in ensuring that we do what we must do as a country. Otherwise, asanteni sana. I wish you well as you continue this meeting. I am very happy with what the banking sector is doing, especially in contributing to our domestic mobilization of resources, and also what you're doing to support our MSME sector, the biggest sector we have in Kenya. Asanteni sana, and God bless you.
A round of applause for His Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency. With your permission, I'll request that you kindly advance to come here, Your Excellency, and press the buzzer to have the launch of the accelerator program.